there was just too much money given from the seller because it's a buyer's market. Today's June 16th, and of course, we all have or want to know what's going on with the market. So I went ahead and wrote some numbers down. But first, before I do that, let me bring to your attention, this is what they call the Cromford report. This is for Maricopa County, Maricopa County in Arizona. And this is clearly stating that we are currently in a buyer's market. Why? Because the supply is almost in the red, meaning way too much supply. And then the demand is definitely in the red, meaning not enough demand. So too much supply, not enough demand means the market index is showing a very strong buyer's market. So I took the liberty of going ahead and writing down some numbers. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what it says. Active listings as of today or as of yesterday, 29,495 active listings. This exact time last year, instead of 29,000, there was only 21,384 active listings. And 2 years ago, even worse, it goes from 29,000 today, 21,000 last year, and 2 years ago, the active listings were 14,953. So you can see we drastically increased these listings. And boy, let me tell you, 2 years ago, we needed this many listings. And now we have them and they're not going. And what do I mean by that? So sales as of this year, as of yesterday, 72,134 sales, which is actually better than this time last year, which was at 70,023. But that's a $2,000 difference, less than $2,000. It's like $1,500 different or $1,500 difference on sales. Yet listings are up over 8,000 from last year. But then if you go even 2 years ago, where the listings were at 14,953, the sales were at 74,553. So even with almost 15,000 less listings 2 years ago, we still have more sales 2 years ago than we have today, was sitting at 29,000. So the average days on market in Maricopa County right now are 90 days, which is good. I've seen it up to 100. The medium sales price at the moment, which I know everyone's wondering if the sales prices are going up or going down. Medium sales price at the moment is $450,000. Last month, the medium sales price was $449,000, so it's gone up $1,000 in Maricopa County. Last quarter, which was what really matters, last quarter it was as high as $464,290. So from last quarter it was at $464,000 till today it's gone down to $450,000 medium sales price. So that is a pretty significant decline in medium sales price. Last year, if it matters, it was at $450,000, which makes sense. And 2 years ago, it was at $440,000. So if you think about it, 2 years ago, $440,000. The following year, $450,000. The following year, almost 9 months later, $464,000. And a quarter later from there, it goes from $464,000 down to $450,000. So a drastic drop in just a quarter in Maricopa County alone. And of course, that has to do with the fact that we have 29,000 listings on the market and only 72,000 sales year to date. So if you're in the market to wanting to buy right now, we always say right now is a great time to buy, and right now is always the great time to buy. If you'd bought 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, you're still in a great position. If you'd bought in 2008, you're in a great position. But specifically now, if you buy now, I've closed multiple loans in the last just 20 days, and every single loan had buyer-seller concessions. So much so in some cases that we couldn't even use all the seller concessions. There was just too much money given from the seller because it's a buyer's market. So imagine, I literally had a person who had a 630-something credit score. Their interest rate FHA was 6.25%. Technically, I'm not supposed to throw numbers around without APRs, etc. But just know the reason I'm going to do this is because the seller paid no closing costs. They just paid down payments. So they at a 639 FICO score. Let's just say the cost was astronomical, so in compliance, even though it wasn't. At 6.25, it didn't cost her any money for that interest rate because her credit score was a 639, which is relatively very low on the credit score mortgage scale. But because of the seller concessions that she received, her interest rate ended up being 5.75 and still had a couple $100 to spare, like where we couldn't use it because they had the home warranty, we paid up the HOAs, and we bought down the interest rate. In a seller's market, you're not going to get any of that. You're going to get the same house for the same price, maybe a little higher because it's a seller's market, and no seller concessions. So you'll get the same 6.25% interest rate, assuming all things considered equal, and probably if you're going through me. If you have any questions about this and you live in the state of Arizona, give me a call, Ruben Chavez, 2 Strong Mortgage.